Hey, what's going on? It's Wes here, aka Seahawks Prime. Welcome back to the channel, the Seahawks Times, your go-to NFL channel on YouTube. And if you're a diehard, passionate Seahawks fan like myself, please subscribe right now because I'm going to bring awesome content, in-depth analysis of the Seahawks all season long. Let's talk about this game last night. Now, Seahawks Prime, I coined myself that, and my friends say I'm too optimistic about Seattle, and I've always been that way. I love football. I look to the bright side because I like to be positive about the sport. You know what I mean? But I'm also going to keep it 100 with you guys all the time. I'm going to be real about how I feel about the team and where the direction is going. This game against the Bears that occurred last night was not a good thing for the Seattle Seahawks. And, pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not all doom and gloom, but I'm going to tell you the truth about this game, the cold, hard facts. The fact of the matter is we have a lot of voids in key areas that we're going to need to excel in this year to sneak into a wild card. First and foremost, special teams. We're going to have an advantage against teams in our special teams area, and special teams was not good, specifically in the kicking game, outside of Michael Dixon, of course, but that's never a good thing when you're punting so much. Myers missing a kick, muffed punts, things like that. We're not being dynamic in the special teams game, and we need to have an advantage against the other teams, at least at our level in the NFL. So we need to improve there, and I'm sure that Coach Izzo is going nuts in practice saying, guys, let's get our heads together. So that's critical. Other thing is penalties. Seattle has always suffered when we have penalties. Charles Cross, some issues there with false starts. It's not a huge red flag for me because he's going up against Robert Quinn, so he looked a little bit nervous. One thing that's awesome about it is he didn't give up a lot of pressures to Quinn, but he's going to have to figure out the snap count and, be consistent there because we need him to be our leader and our future at left tackle. So that was a little bit annoying that Charles was, causing those penalties there in the game. It cost us on some key drives, but Charles is going to learn from that. I'm positive about him in the long term. Drops. We cannot drop the ball. I know these are backup wides, etc., your penny hearts, but guys like Freddie Swain, you got to make that catch. If you're to be our quintessential third receiving option, you got to make that play. And I've been apologetic about Swain, and I know DK really likes Swain, and the coaches speak highly of him. I do think he's good, but I'm not sure that he's a surefire long-term third option for the Seattle Seahawks. It opens the door for D. Eskridge when he comes back to make some plays when he's healthy. But drops. We can't drop the ball, third downs, key situations. A team like this, we need to stay on the field and control the clock more consistently and win with consistent third down conversions. It's always been the story with Seattle as they've tried to win with ball control. Let's talk about Geno and how Geno played. Drew Lock, unfortunately, had COVID. Apparently he was really sick and couldn't play. Devastating because I think Drew Lock was, really starting to gun and throw dots and win that competition. I'm going to speak the truth about Geno Smith. Geno Smith is an average NFL quarterback, a great person, but I don't think he will ever be more than just an average NFL quarterback. And I would rather sneak into the playoffs with a wild card, have to trade up to get, a Stroud or a Levis type player next year, than just be mediocre, average type of play, because Geno, he played okay. I'm going to say what it is. He was consistent. If it wasn't for the drops, he would have had like 50, 60 more yards, but he doesn't provide that magic. And I think that Drew has a little bit of that magic, that little something, that touch, that zip on the ball, that ability to extend a play. I just don't see that with Geno Smith, and I don't think that's going to change. So, let me know in the comments if you think that we should start Drew or Geno, but I think I'd roll with Drew, even if he's sick, just because he can do so much more with his talent with the ball. Now, overall, I just think the vibe of the game last night wasn't very good in terms of how the team's energy was. We came out flat. We came out not ready to go, not ready to play. That's what I saw there. And when Jacob Eason is one of the highlights, bless him, of the night, you've got some issues going on there. I wanted to see a lot more from the second and third string depth there. I know Pete's playing it, close to the chest, and they're really trying to keep the starting players healthy, and I appreciate that, but I do not want to see my third and second and fourth string guys struggle so much against a team like the Bears, second and fourth string guys, because the league is putting us up against the Bears in that kind of bottom of the league territory, and I think we have more talent than that. So I don't know if we were playing more vanilla than necessary just to keep the tape kind of light so the coaches couldn't see what was happening on film that we come against later in the year, but I was not impressed overall with the execution on offense or defense from the Seattle Seahawks. And I just got to be real about that right now. Positives. we have a really dynamic young team. We have lots of talent. We've got lots of people. But at this point in time, next week, I want to see us carve out our identity and bully people around in the O-line. And like I said before this video in the preview, I want to see some really aggressive pass rush. I want to see them go all out. Clint Hurt, I want to see you just attack because we've got nothing to lose. We should let these young talent get confidence through just punishing hits and get back to what made the Seahawks, an all-time great team over the last decade, and that's just being very consistent defensively, run game, working the play action game. Now, let's see what can happen moving forward. If Drew can get healthy and play this last preseason game, will be critical to his chances to starting for Seattle. Some updates on the injuries. Damian Lewis, I was really scared. I thought, that was a really bad leg break or ACL type injury, but he made it out clean. Something happened there. He said high ankle sprain. Those can really hamper players, especially in O-line that have to plant and set, into the weeks. But the big news is Damian Lewis is a really consistent player for us now. He's a starting player and that he's not going to be out for the season, and that's critical. Although it does open the door for Phil Haynes, who's been playing spectacular football, in my opinion. Really good in the pass blocking game and improving in run blocking to shore up on the O-line. So we're looking good at O-line. I like the depth there. I'm not going to put too much weight in this game because it is preseason, but I did want to see them get rolling at home and give us fans something to kind of, jump around about. But ultimately, I do believe that we need to get to Drew Lock, guys. It is what it is. I'm going to be that devil's advocate here and just say what nobody really wants to say, is that he's the better player and he needs to start at QB because he gives us the juice. Anyways, those are some quick observations of the game. Let me know what you guys thought about the game. I'll watch more of the game and maybe chime in a little bit more later in what I felt about the All-22, etc. But this team needs to get their act together, let the speed kill the opponent, because that's what our advantage is going to be. Special teams, speed, getting the youth out in space. Tell me what your thoughts are here. Shout outs to everybody that might be tuning in from Chicago, Illinois, or Chicago Bears fans. I always have respect for your franchise. Seahawks fans, you know what it is. Give me a sub and go Hawks.